Women are required to do all of this work to themselves. Women are required to do complex and painful things to their bodies, as well as buying the toxic chemicals with which to do them. And of course, they don't get paid for any of this. The shopping costs women time and money, but the work of application takes a great deal of time too. A study by Marks and Spencers estimated that the average woman takes 20 minutes per day doing ordinary makeup and 40 minutes for going out socializing. That is, as I always explain, several years in a lifetime and quite enough to learn a difficult language like Korean, which would be much more useful. There are many other activities required which all take time: depilation, eyebrow threading, the application of false nails in beauty parlors, and bleaching, and anal bleaching, rather, pumping up lips and other parts of the body with fillers, tattooing, piercing, Botox. The array of treatments that women have to pay to have applied to their body, most of which are painful and take a good deal of time, is very extensive. Men, on the other hand, may skip out of the door in the morning barefaced, having done nothing to transform themselves, having done nothing to please women's eyes or to show their deference. I argue that the beauty practices required of women should be included within the United Nations understanding of harmful cultural practices. Harmful cultural practices are those which do not fit easily into conventional understandings of women's rights or into the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women. The paradigmatic harmful cultural practice is female genital mutilation. The practices are defined by being harmful to women and girls, performed for the benefit of men, and justified by tradition. Beauty practices fit these criteria, though they're not usually included in the lists in UN documents, which include such practices as child marriage and breast ironing and so on. The UN concept of harmful cultural practices is created out of a cultural bias. Therefore, it does not include any practices which take place in Western countries, because women are educated in the West and seem to have a choice. In fact, of course, there are plenty of harmful cultural practices in the West which are not alleviated by a higher standard of living and education. The bodies of women and girls are cut up in the West in ways which suit the interests of men and male power and are brutal even compared with those in Africa or the Middle East.